What's up, everybody? Welcome to JG on the Move. I am so pumped about my guest today. And scene. All right. But this is Melissa Garcia, aka Myrtle.
Yes. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Not only has she been an amazing performer and artist herself, but she is also now one of the creative directive team who does all of the creations, all the directing for every major artist, every top 40 artist, every #1 selling artist in the world.
So, we have, Selena Gomez and Katy Perry and Bruno Mars and J-Lo and Gwen Stefani and
Did you say
Usher. Katy, yes.
Yeah.
And a few others that obviously in this industry that you're under contract that you're not able to talk about. But
some of the top biggest artists on the planet. You can't even mention their names.
Right. So
that's the way it works, right? She is not only a great friend, but she is like a female version of me. I guess that's kind of narcissistic to say that I love you so much. She's
very
bossy. That's just because we know exactly the way things should be done and run, and you're detailed. You know exactly what's supposed to happen.
We just know what we want.
We know what we want. What voice were you in Beaches? Were you in the actual movie, or were you the singing voice?
I was the singing voice of the young Bette Midler, CeCe Bloom, in the movie Beaches. I sang The Glory of Love.
But you've danced for Britney Spears. You've danced with...
I've danced with Celine Dion and Kylie Minogue and Katy Perry and No Doubt and a bunch of other, and lots of TV shows and things.
Mediocre talent. That is one that we were discussing earlier, right? About mediocre talent. And the industry's full of mediocre talent. But that mediocre talent is doing amazing things. It's changing the world. And people aren't sitting there going, oh my God, I'm not good enough. What is your thought about mediocre talent? I mean, what you experience every day working with mediocre talent. I mean, let's call it a spade a spade. I mean, there's mediocre talent in the real world. There's singers, and most of these singers that you work with, unless you're like Bruno Mars, good God Almighty, But there's people who every day who can out-sing or out-dance or out-perform another artist, but these artists don't. What do you do to make this mediocre talent really shine?
Well, what I've learned, even when going through college and I was just teaching dance, during that duration, is that everyone has the ability to be great. It's just a matter of you helping them figure out how to tap into that greatness.
Applause! Standing O! Standing O! I mean, so that's it. I'm chills because that's the truth.
It's not an easy journey. I'm not going to say there isn't a fight to get there and a struggle to get there, but I always feel like when you go into a situation stubborn and you only have one path, then you are just really closing yourself up to the greatness. Again, just being really open-minded to the different pathways that you might have to go down that you might have been closed off to find it.
So have you ever had an artist meltdown and that they didn't feel like they were good enough, or do most of them just carry that confidence?
No, I think what we have to remember is that they are people.
Yeah.
They are human. They're not robots.
And they've gone on no sleep. They've shot 2 music videos in 2 days. They're having to prep for the, Grammys, the VMAs. They've traveled and done 5 tours in 5 shows that week. So, I mean, they've had meltdowns and you're just like, okay, let's do this. We got it.
Yeah, I think that, we are the captain of the ship. So the moment that you falter, the moment that you lose hope, then is the moment that you will sink. And everyone with you will go down.
Every leader out there, if you are being a leader, you need to listen. Repeat those words again.
Oh gosh, I don't even know exactly how I said it.
That you're the captain of the ship.
Yes, you are the captain of the ship. So basically, what I like to do is...
You said the moment you lose hope...
The moment you lose hope...
You sink.
Yeah, you sink. And I think that, for me, what really helps is in that moment where in your head, you're thinking, oh my gosh, like, like, we're going downtown, Julie Brown. You know, like, this is the end. This is going to ruin my career. You have to take a moment, whether or not you walk out of the room, you take a breath, you just kind of put yourself back together, you put your big girl panties on, and you walk back in, and you breathe, and you get through it. And the moment everyone sees that you're still confident, then it makes them confident again and be like, okay, well, you know, it's like on a plane when there's turbulence. Who's the first person you look at? I look at the flight attendants.
Yeah.
If they're freaking out, guess what, peeps? I'm going to be like, something's about to happen.
Where's my parachute?
Right.
We're going down.
But if they are just like, they're sitting there and they're laughing and they're chatting and they're totally fine, I'm like, oh, well, this must be normal.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to worry about. So that's exactly what we have to do as leaders, as anybody who is in charge of whatever it is that they're doing.
So working with all these artists, I mean, literally every _1 artist, what do you see quality-wise that makes them so successful? Not the team, but them themselves.
I mean, as an artist myself, and for you, it's that hunger, it's that love, it's that ultimate passion for what it is that you do.
Right.
Really, I think the drive and the hunger for that is not something that you could teach someone. I think that's something that you're born with. And so when you do, come across anyone in your life that, whether or not it be a parent that says, I have, little Sammy Sue that wants to be an artist or an actress or whatever, and can you please meet with them? I mean, you can really tell if that child or that person has
that drive. They have that hunger. But sometimes somebody can get into something and kind of be like, oh, this is cool, I like it, and then it can begin to take over them, I think, with anything, because you get excited about it and you start really just falling in love with something. It's just like, with human nature of how we are with people, things, or whatever. We get addicted to things.
Oh, right. Like for me, dancing was my first passion and my first love in the arts. And then I got into singing. And then all of a sudden I was interested in singing, and I could then incorporate my dancing and singing. And then that got taken over with acting. And then I put that in, and I like arts and crafts, and
you're incredibly creative, and I talk about all the puzzles and pieces you go through life, and you just have to trust the flow and keep showing up with what you're doing and what you love, right. And it will all piece together. And right now you're piecing every aspect together. It's amazing to see how that has come to fruition. But talking about going back to these artists, because I don't want to lose that thought, is that with some of these artists, what is the work ethic of some of them? And some people have greater work ethics and you see the success so much bigger, or, how is that? How does that work?
Well, I think that everyone's goals are the same. Everyone's ultimate finish is exactly the same. It's just how we get there is a bit different with every single artist.
That's good, yeah.
So when it comes down to it, it's not so much about work ethic as much as it is finding a formula that works for every single person.
Wow. Okay. Good thought.
And so that's at least what we've noticed. And and some of them are so quick. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you can literally show it to them once and they got it.
Right.
And then there's others that take a little bit longer.
I always took longer.
You guys took longer. I feel like I was always really quick.
I took longer.
But I wanted a lot of rehearsal.
I had to work it, and I rehearsed, and I rehearsed, and I would rehearse, and I would rehearse until it became, instant for me. So I've been one of those artists that would have been every, there 24/7.
And there is that too. Right.
And
we adapt to whatever they need to be able to feel confident enough to when they hit that stage or whatever platform it is that they're on, that they feel good.
What do you consider the it factor?
I mean, the it factor to me is someone that when you see them, you're so enamored by them, you're so interested in them, and you want to know more about them, or something that they've said can't leave your mind. It's just they've really imprinted you in some way. They're not forgettable. I think that's the thing, and I think that's why they call it the it factor, is because I don't really think that it can be defined, because it's different for every single person. I don't think you can put that in a bubble and say, in order for you to have the it factor, you have to have X, Y, and Z. I think that, there's some artists and there's some actors, it doesn't matter what it is and what genre, that people really connect with. And why they connect with them is so different for every single person.
Every single person connects differently. I actually say, because I've got a whole thing about the it factor and understanding what it is, and tell me what your thoughts are on this. But to me, it's someone who knows what their greatness is and they walk confidently in that. And so that is what we're drawn to. So if somebody knows their personality in a certain way and they exhibit that, we are drawn to that. We just, so for me, it's somebody who just confidently walks in that and just owns it, and we just, either we love it, or sometimes we're annoyed by people. Somebody else is like, oh my God, that's the best thing ever, and we're all like, oh my God, if that person doesn't stop, I'm gonna like, But it's, to me, so for me, that's what the it factor is.
I think, and I think that is the really great thing about our industry, and that's why there are so many different artists and types of people out there, is because everyone's it factor and what they like is different. And
because a lot of people that listen to my stuff and are not singers or anything, but I think music is
it's
something,
a
universal language that I always use, because it's what I know best. But it's the same process. It's developing your talent, developing your skills, whatever that may be, and that your work ethic has to be so incredible in order to make it. Your team has got to be there. And the point that some people can handle the stress of life and business and finances, they can handle it stronger than the others. And some can't do it, so they don't make it.
Well, I think the biggest thing, though, that you mentioned earlier is having that confidence in who you are. Because, the one thing that I always say when I'm working is that if you believe it, we're going to believe it. Because if you go out there and you're not believing, then people are going to read right through that.
Yes.
And they're going to call bullshit.
Yep.
And so
it's so easy. But that's with everything.
Right.
One thing I want you to leave with everybody is that, what do you say to somebody to go out and get their dreams, make their dreams come true?
I mean, I know it's cliche, and I feel like a lot of people say it, but it's because it's so true, is that if you want something so badly, then you're going to do whatever it takes to get there, and you're going to fall as many times as you need to fall to get there. Because if you get there and it's so easy, then that means when you get there, you won't actually really love it. Appreciate it, because it was so easy. Yeah. So, I mean, I know that that's what I've definitely experienced. That's what I would say, is that just keep pushing, surrounding yourself with really good people, because you're going to have those days where you want to give up and you really need that person to call and reach out to and say, okay, look, let me run this by you. Am I losing my mind? And it's the team. It's the people around you.
Relationships, your team is so important. And make sure that you keep hope, keep live, and you've got to make sure that you have the heart for it, that you've got to have the drive. I think, as I came out to LA and I wanted to be an artist, but I didn't have, it wasn't the right lane, it wasn't the right time, I wasn't hungry for it. I didn't have that drive. You can have the dreams and the intentions all you want, but if you don't have the drive to make it, then you're doing the wrong thing. So you need to figure out what that is before you waste a bunch of time.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's just being really honest with yourself as well. And again, having people around you that can be honest with you as well. Yep. So, I mean, that's really it. It's really easy. The formula is easy, kids. It's just a matter of doing it.
You gotta do it.
Doing it's the hard part.
You gotta do it. Keep showing up. You gotta keep showing up day after day, because some days, man, it just feels like, what am I doing? I'm not excelling. Why am I not booking this? Why am I not getting this? Why am I not doing this? You got to keep showing up.
Yeah.
Day after day after
It's
day.
true.
I mean, Katy Perry, how many times was she signed? She was signed 6 different times, at least that's what I read. 6 different times before she actually got signed by a label, and that took her to where she is.
Right. It happens when it's supposed to happen, and the universe listens. And, you know, again, it's when you really are able to look back at everything, and when you do get to where you want to be, you can say, wow, I'm happy it didn't happen at that time because I wasn't ready for it. And now I'm totally ready for it. Like, wow. So it's interesting.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Do you have social media that anybody follows you, or do you not do that?
I do Instagram. It's Melissa Myrtle. Myrtle spelled Myrtle.
Myrtle!
And, you know, and then you could just watch anything for Silent House Productions. You can look at a lot of online, and we have an Instagram, we have a Facebook, and so definitely look for that company.
All right. Peace out, guys.
Bye.
Go be amazing. Bye.